Jazzcast Pros.
Are you a pet owner, and do you wonder if it's okay to share your bed with your four-legged furry friend? On today's episode, I'm providing you my thoughts and some insights, as the question of whether it's okay to sleep with your pet is one I receive often in my presentations. So whether you're a dog lover, a cat enthusiast, or have more of an exotic companion, how do your pets impact your sleep? And what can you do to ensure that both you and your furry friends get the rest you need? Stay with me to find out. Welcome back to the Doze Podcast, where we dive deep into the world of sleep and how to improve yours. I'm your host, Soda Kuczkowski, and today I want to have a conversation that hits us right at the center of our hearts, our pets, and should we share our beds with them? Now, I thought this was a timely conversation because my family and I just became new pet owners. Our little Yorkie of 16 years passed right before COVID, and 4 years later, my daughter and I have finally worn my husband down to add a new member to our family. So it was really hard for us when he passed, but our new little guy, Knox, has filled our hearts with love and joy in ways that keep permanent smiles on our face. He loves to snuggle. He's so soft, yet not so tiny these days. He'll be 5 months in a few days, and he's grown big so fast. When he first came home, I had many say, "Oh, you're a sleep person," but be prepared not to sleep with a new puppy, which inspired the idea for this episode. Because while animals have different sleep patterns than their human counterparts, it's the same idea. They learn by routine and consistency. So I want to talk to you about how pets can influence your sleep and your health, but also tap into a little of the science as to why your cat or dog could be a great companion or whether they might be better off sleeping on their own. First, it might not surprise you to learn that over 50% of pet owners let their pets sleep in their bedroom. But is it a good idea? Well, it depends. In favor of it, on the positive side, having your pet nearby can provide a sense of security and comfort, which can help you relax and fall asleep more easily. The rhythmic breathing of a dog or the purring of a cat can be very soothing. And beyond comfort and security, they can also offer many other benefits, including emotional bonding. Sharing a sleep space with your pet can strengthen the bond between you and them. This can lead to a great sense of companionship and happiness. Sharing a bed with your pet can ease feelings of loneliness. I know children in particular tend to view their pets as good friends and enjoy the companionship they get from sleeping with their cat or dog. I know our daughter loves to have him at the foot of her bed until she falls asleep. And her bedtime is, 8:30, 9, I guess now that it's the summer. But he stays with her and then comes upstairs to us once he knows that she's asleep because he is super smart. And the presence of a pet can also reduce levels of stress and anxiety. The simple act of petting or simply being near your pet can trigger the release of oxytocin, a hormone associated with relaxation and stress relief. It can also help reduce cortisol levels, your stress hormone. They also provide warmth. Pets, especially dogs and cats, can provide extra warmth on cold nights, acting as natural heaters. But since we're in the summer, that's a counter-argument for keeping them in their own beds during hot nights. Another thing they do is they can provide us consistent routine. Having a pet can help you maintain a bedtime, which is beneficial for your overall sleep health, because they can help us create those healthier habits. And that helps support our health in a number of ways, from lower blood pressure to decreased cortisol levels, the better management of depression symptoms, even fewer symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Additionally, people with chronic pain can get better sleep with a pet in their bed. However, there's some potential downsides, like associations. For instance, letting them get accustomed to going to the bathroom in the middle of the night. Now, if you have an older dog, perhaps this may be unavoidable in some cases, but most dogs are able to go longer stretches as they also need to clock many more hours of sleep than we do. And when I looked into the research on this and on restlessness in dogs, it states that lack of mental and physical stimulation during the day can lead to their restlessness at night. So that's why playtime and walks are so important, to help them burn off that excess energy and to settle down. And this is good for you too. But to recognize some of the red flags, perhaps, having a cat who likes to jump on and off the bed at night because they tend to be nocturnal creatures, right? Or a dog who moves around a lot. I know our former little guy used to love to run his little legs in his sleep when he was dreaming, which was entirely cute, but would wake us up. Another con is cleanliness. Now, Cohen, our first dog, who was a Yorkie, was super small. So he was trained like a cat to go inside versus outside using the bathroom, where Knox is a miniature schnauzer and has been going outside regardless of the weather since he completed his sets of necessary shots. So maintaining cleanliness is different for us now, as Knox is outdoors every day. So we regularly clean his bedding and dust our home and bedroom to reduce allergens. This is especially important if you have allergies, which I do. We also wash our sheets regularly once a week, and we make sure to bathe him often as well, especially with all the rain we've been having. Pets unknowingly carry dirt, bacteria, pollen, dust, and even fleas, which can be transferred into your bedding if they sleep with you. So my recommendation is to keep them above the comforter, which may be best if you're not avid about washing your pet or your sheets often. Another con could be allowing them to sleep in your bed can create behavior issues, such as possessiveness or anxiety when they're not allowed to be in the bed. And if you're someone who can't say no and they must sleep with you, at least create the expectation of where they sleep. I know cats like to park themselves above some of my clients' heads, or dogs like to wedge themselves between partners, but you have to draw boundaries to avoid ongoing issues that will be harder to change and retrain later. And if your choice of pet is more of an exotic companion, I just want to have a few quick thoughts about that. So my nephew started to collect fish a couple years back, and he had several tanks that he kept within his bedroom, and they have this bright blue light. And as we know, blue light is not good for us at night. So I had to remind him, you need to turn those off when you go to sleep at night, because that can be very intrusive to your sleep patterns and can affect how deeply and how well you're sleeping. So if you're someone who has, whether it be a snake or some type of reptile, and you do keep them in your bedroom, be aware that the lights that are in a lot of these tanks can affect your sleep patterns. So you want to make sure that they're dark, or to move them into another room. So then how do you create a pet-friendly sleep environment that ensures both you and your pet get a good night's sleep? Well, I have some tips for you. First, of course, is to create a designated sleep space. I want you to consider setting up a separate sleeping area for your pet in your bedroom. A comfortable bed on the floor or a crate can give your pet a cozy spot without disturbing your sleep. It's also crucial to understand your pet's specific needs. For instance, older dogs might need orthopedic beds to support their joints, and puppies might need more bathroom breaks during the night. But in our case, Knox came home to us at 8 weeks, and he had already started training with pee pads. So he initially was accustomed to going in the corner of his playpen, where he also slept during the night instead of waking us up. We only had, sleep disruptions with him the first night, as I'm sure being away from his brothers and sisters in a new space was scary, and he whined a bit. But my husband was really kind enough to sleep on the couch that first night to keep him company, which settled him down. We then proceeded to have his playpen at the end of our bed for the next week. Then after that, we moved it to a place in our living room. So as I mentioned, he's coming up on 5 months, and he is a super snuggler during the day, but has been absolutely fine sleeping on his own. But when we do decide to transition him either, into our rooms, our daughters, because he's just started to learn to go upstairs, which is adorable, even though he still can't go down them. We want to have a bed for him in the corner. Now, don't get me wrong, we snuggle with him in bed in the morning, and when he transitions, we could easily probably have him at the foot of our bed. But for our family, for any reason, if he wants to get up or get water to move around, having him in a separate bed won't disturb us. Second, sticking to a routine. Pets thrive on routine. Trying to keep a consistent feeding and exercise schedule, this can help regulate their energy levels and improve their sleep patterns. We found out quickly that the schedule he came with, he didn't necessarily like. He tends to want to eat later in the morning and later at night. He also is so used to our sleep schedule that when my husband and I have a night where we actually stay up, he makes his way into his playpen and puts himself to sleep. It's adorable. And if you do decide to invite your furry friend into your bed, make sure that your bed is big enough, in order to minimize those additional sleep disruptions that can happen. So to keep you both healthy, make sure that they're cleaned, bathe often to reduce allergens. Also keep up with grooming and veterinarian checkups. And last, create a bedtime routine together. We take a family walk after dinner, and then we play for about 30 minutes to burn off excess energy. And as I mentioned, he also is used to our routine, which animals love, by the way. So I'm sure you're aware that if you're feeding them early during the week, they are trying to push you out of bed at 6 o'clock on the weekends, right? But because they like to keep their schedule. So they only follow what you teach them is okay. I mean, I'm not a dog trainer or an expert by any means, but we do watch videos and animals learn fairly quickly. And it's also how we got him to sit next to us when we're out walking and we stop to speak to our neighbors. He's young, but he is already so bright. So in closing, just remember, choosing to share your bed with your pet is a personal decision that only you can make. And it depends on your lifestyle, your health, and your sleep habits. They're great for us in so many ways, including our mental health. I mean, is there anything better than their happy faces and waggy tails when they see you? Pets bring so much joy and comfort to our lives, and their unconditional love, and not to mention their unwavering loyalty, do more than just make us feel good. They are a powerful antidote to stress and anxiety that everyday life can present. So having a pet is a form of therapy. They truly support us emotionally. That's it for today's episode of the Doze Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any questions or topics you'd like me to cover, please drop them in the comments section below. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. I'm back every Wednesday, ready to empower you to take control of your sleep. If you've enjoyed what you heard, please subscribe to the Doze Podcast with a Z. I still have lots to share with you as we work together towards creating solutions around your unique sleep challenges and needs. Until then, remember your pure potential if you change how well you sleep.